Welcome to the Strong Feels Good podcast. My name is Angela Gargano, 4-time American Ninja Warrior and 3-time cover girl. And in this podcast, we're going to be going over everything mindset. Because if you don't deal with the shit going on in your head, you're not going to be able to grow in so many other aspects of your life. So we're going to be going over actionable steps in order to get to that next level, go through experiences, have great guests on here, and talk about so much more. Welcome. Hello, everybody, and welcome to my very first podcast. Very exciting. I feel like everyone's been asking me to do a podcast because there's so many times that I will go on rants on my Instagram page and they say they wish they had it for later. So here we are in the Strong Feels Good podcast. We are going to be talking all things mindset, because if you don't deal with the shit going on in your head and in your life, then you're not going to be healthy, right? You're not. The whole concept of living is to feel damn good. And that's why I love the brand Strong Feels Good, because that's the end of the day, that's how we want to, that's what we want to do, right? We want to feel good, right? Looking good is one thing, but feeling amazing is another thing. And one way to do that is to really focus on your mindset. So in today's episode, I'm actually going to be just talking a little bit about myself so you can get to know me a little bit better and a little bit more about why and how I've learned all these things throughout the years. And hopefully you can continue to learn by listening to these other episodes. So yes, my name is Angela Gargano, and you might know me as the 4-time American Ninja Warrior, the cover girl, the certified trainer, the women's health instructor, whatever you might want to hate. But there's so much more to me in my journey besides all those titles and the path in order to get there. So I'm going to start from the beginning. I actually grew up in a small town called Byram, New Jersey. Nobody knows where that is. Some of you on here might know where it is. The only thing Byram, New Jersey is known for is Wild West City. Yes, Wild West City, where they had like rodeos and fake fights on horses and all sorts of stuff like that. So really the middle of nowhere. I knew growing up that I was very different. And I remember my dad telling me, it's okay that you're different. It's okay that you're different. And to know that, be a leader and not be a follower. And that's actually a really tough thing to do, right? It's a really lonely place to be a lot of times, because following the crowd's a little bit easier sometimes, right? So anyways, we'll get in a little bit into that. So growing up, I was very athletic. I had the definition in my arms, all things, muscle, everything, right? Because I was doing gymnastics, any kind of sport that my parents would throw me into. But then I wasn't in love with my strength because I was made fun of, and I was actually called Mangela. They called me Mangela, and I used to go to school in a sweatshirt completely covered up because I didn't want anybody to see my body. I didn't want anyone to know that I was strong. And how crazy is that, right? How it kind of comes a little bit full circle. So they call me Mangela. There was days where I was leaving, crying. During the summer, I was in the sweatshirt and I was like sweating my ass off. It was crazy. And yeah, I was feeling really like sorry for myself then. It was a lonely place to be, being called Mangela and just not wanting anyone to see my body. So during high school, things got a little bit better, but I still kind of had that, I didn't really want to show my body or let anyone know my strength, or really share with anybody too much about my gymnastics, which is one of the things that really, really, really changed my life, honestly. So during gymnastics, I had a coach. His name was Miguel, and Miguel was amazing because Miguel really took me under his wing and saw that I had some type of potential in the sport, which is a hard thing for it to happen, right? Because there's so many other great athletes around me that were younger, that had more time in the gym. And my parents wouldn't let me go to the gym 3 days, 4 to 5, 6 days a week. They only let me go 3. So I had in 3 days a week, I had to get good and kind of prove myself. And Miguel took me under his wing. He saw that I had talent. And I think sometimes that you really need that coach or someone to believe in you when you don't believe in yourself and you're not really fully sure of your full potential. And that's happened several times in my life with mentors where they saw something in me that I was like, wait, what are you seeing? Why are you helping me so much? Right. So Miguel got me really, really good at gymnastics, teaching me all sorts of new skills. And he really helped me through a hard time in my life, which is when my parents were getting divorced. Growing up, my parents were both great parents. But their relationship was very much falling apart because of my troubled brother. So lots of fighting, lots of yelling and screaming, lots of, if you were literally outside my house, you were probably hearing the yelling and screaming, kind of scared to bring people over my house sometimes because of all the fighting going on. And finally, they decided that they were going to get divorced. So my mom was the one who actually moved out. So during that time, I was feeling really, again, sad, sorry for myself, alone, all those things. And Miguel saw that like I was kind of teetering off. I was kind of sad when I was coming in. I wasn't acting like myself. And he looks at me and he says, "You know what, Angela?" He's like, "In these four walls in this gym, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter right now. All that matters is you focusing on you, yourself, and your body." And that to me was, ooh, that was a game changer. I was like, "You're right." And in a way, he was saying what you learn later on, which is like, it's not in your control. It's not in your control, but you can control what you're doing with yourself, right? And your body. So I put everything that I had into gymnastics, everything. I would be in there, I was still only in there 3 days a week, but when I wasn't in there, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about doing gymnastics. And I set a goal myself to go into college gymnastics, which is, again, a really tough thing to do, especially if you're only going in 3 days a week. Some people are recruited from gymnastics years in advance. So got recruited to Rhode Island College Gymnastics, which is a Division III school, very small school. I went to all the other schools, right? I went to like Rutgers, I went to all those things. And something about Rhode Island College made me feel at home. There's something, it was a feeling. It really was. The coach, Shannon, she made me feel at home. She made me feel like I was something and then I could make something of myself, which is great. And that energy fired me up. So I really went there for the energy. And I decided to go to school there for gymnastics and also for biological chemistry. I know everyone's always probably like, why? How are biological chemistry? But biological chemistry at the time, I wanted to do something like be in the circus or do something wild like that. And my parents would always tell me that's not a real job. So I went to the next best thing that I was excited about, which was science. Science was cool. I had a teacher in high school who literally blew up things and showed us cool things. And I was like, all right, science is cool. We're going to go with science. So I went with science and was on the college gymnastics team there. Small school, again, something I really, really enjoyed about it was that it was a small school. Everyone really knew each other. And there were so many experiences that I had in college gymnastics, especially my first ever gymnastics meet that I ever did was at MIT. And I wasn't really fully prepared for some of the routines. And I was kind of like on it was like kind of a backup in a way. And the backup, who actually, this is super funny, the backup who happens to be my assistant now, Sarah, assistant / friend. She couldn't compete because her leg was hurting or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. So I had to go in for her and I wasn't really fully prepared, but I had this my coach had this mindset like, you got this, you're fine, whatever. I remember doing the first tumbling pass, landing completely out of bounds. And then the second tumbling pass on my ass. And the third tumbling pass was a double backflip in the air. And I was like, I got this. Fell completely on my head. Pretty wild. Anyways, so basically ate shit in front of everybody. Very embarrassing time, but also a very I don't know. It was a time where it was like, all right, well, fell on my face and I guess we're just gotta keep on going type of thing. So it was embarrassing, but I didn't let myself get stuck in there. But anyways, the gymnastics team was really great for me. And unfortunately, my sophomore year, I tore my ACL, which is the first injury I've ever had in my entire life. So it was really, really tough. I got stuck in a really dark place. Again, feeling sorry for myself, not knowing what to do without my sport, right? Because sometimes in college, if you're listening to this and you're in college sport right now, and you've gotten out of it, you know how tough it is to be in a sport and that's being your life, and then all of a sudden it's taken away from you. So you're not really sure what to do. So kind of in a dark place, didn't really know what to do. So I just started going out a decent amount, drinking a decent amount, nothing too crazy excessive, but just depressing and just not really fully taking care of myself. Until I realized that, you know what, you don't need your leg to work out. You can work out with your upper body. So I hired a trainer. His name was Jamie, and Jamie was absolutely amazing. So if Jamie's listening to this, thank you. And he helped me train just my upper body and whatever I could without my leg, my core, all sorts of things like that. I was able to come back to college gymnastics even after being told that my career was over And I was told that my career was over from the college doctor. That was literally his words, word for word. Your career is over. Why would you tell somebody? Also, I mean, it's good that he told me that because it lit my fire to be like, oh, screw you. Like, let me show you that I'm coming back. And my coach, Tristan at the time, was like, Angela, he was like, this is actually going to be a blessing in disguise for you. And I was like, blessing? Oh, blessing in disguise. Oh, what are you talking about? And I did realize that later on that it was a blessing in disguise, because getting injured or having yourself being knocked down in these kinds of ways are ways that you learn and you grow. That's the way you learn to go. So it is a blessing in disguise. I learned how to really use my body more. I learned how to work around things. I learned how that you are in control of what you do. You're not in control of what has happened to you, right? But you're in control of what you do now and what you do for it. So I feel like I learned a lot from Tristan. Anyways, I was able to come back. Didn't really have the seasons that I was looking to have. Graduated college, went right into working at Brown University for biological chemistry. I worked for an amazing guy named Dr. Park, who I loved. He used to take us for coffee all the time. And I was actually doing organic chemistry. So full on, if you've taken organic chemistry classes, is probably your least favorite class you've ever taken. But I loved it. You were making all the chemicals and, putting stuff in the rotovape. It was just, oh man, it was good. But while I was there, I constantly was thinking about how I missed gymnastics. I went to a regular gym, and I would go to this regular gym and be like, what the hell do I do in here? Like, these weights, like, I gotta pick these up. Now I feel like everyone's looking at me. I don't have a coach telling me anything. I don't have anything to work towards. I felt lost. I felt lost in the gym. Somebody who you think would know, as being an athlete their entire life, would know how to use the gym. I had no idea, because my entire life, my coach was there with me. And now he wasn't there anymore. And now I'm looking at these weights that are boring. I'm sitting there like, oh, like, this is not fun. So I was trying to figure out what to do next. So I did a lot of research, and I finally ran into this woman named Dawn Butterfield. And Dawn Butterfield did Fitness America Pageants, which is a fitness competition where you actually get to flip on stage. You basically get to do gymnastics, but then you also have to pose in heels in a bikini. And let's go back to this whole entire part at the beginning of my life, right? I did not want anybody to see my body. So it was going to be a big feat for me. She decided to introduce me to the woman, the mentor, the person who really helped me become the person I am today, Kathy Savage. Kathy Savage was, if you've ever watched True Life, I Want the Perfect Body, which that might show my age right now, because I was like MTV back in the day. She was the host. She was a part of that. And she was the queen of getting everybody into fitness competitions. I sat into her office. I told her about my goals and things like that. I had no idea what I was saying or who I was or anything about myself. And right on the spot, she was like, I'm going to sponsor you. And I was like, what? You don't even know me. Like, why are you going to sponsor me? And she sponsored me, and she helped me. She got me the outfit. She helped me get the routine. She helped me get to the show. And that first show I won, which was crazy. Just by, again, somebody else in my life having extra faith in me when I didn't have any faith in myself. It's like I slowly was starting to see that, like, I'm meant for something. And I always had that itch inside of me, knowing that I was meant for more, that I wanted to be more, that there was something I wanted to be. I don't know. I don't exactly know how to call it, because I don't want to say famous, right? Because it's not that the fame doesn't matter. It's just like I knew I was meant to be out there in the world and for people to see me, and I had things that I wanted people to hear, but it was in this little shell, right? And the only time I was seeing these things where I knew that I can get out of my shell was with my potential, which is people like my coach, like Kathy Savage, and all those things to help me get myself out of my shell. So really thanks to Kathy Savage, I was able to do that for years. My goal was to become Miss Fitness America. I worked my ass off towards it, and I was actually able to get my pro card both in fitness and bikini, and win Miss Fitness America in 2016 with my Jungle Book routine. Now, that was a whole other journey. I'm sure at some point, if you guys want me to talk about the journey of fitness competitions, I totally can, with the different routines I did. You can find them online. I did a Mad Max routine where I had a zombie on the stage. I did a Jungle Book routine where I had a tree on the stage and I was roaring like an animal. And I had the Maleficent routine. That was a good one. I definitely feel like I made a good Maleficent. That one really helped me come out of my shell, my character. And what I love so much about being on stage is being in that costume, you get to be in a character. You get to be something else. You get to be whatever you want to be. If you are shy, whatever, you can be confident on the stage because you are whoever you want to be on that stage, right? So that's why I loved fitness competitions so much. When I was posing in the bikini, that is not me. I literally wear sweats and I have sneakers on, but on stage, I put those heels on and something came out of me. I could be whoever I wanted to be, confident. So I think that fitness competitions, although they have a negative connotation for a lot of people, a lot of things, it did bring out that confidence in me that I needed. It also brought out some femininity. It brought out confidence in my body to show my body and be like, hey, I worked for this body and I'm strong. So I feel like I got a lot out of it. And I especially learned about community because when I was a part of Kathy Savage's group, every Sunday we'd do something called a Sunday session. We'd all come together, we'd work out, we'd pose, and everyone was uplifting you. Even though you were competing against each other, we were uplifting each other. And I'm like, whoa, I feel like I've never really had this kind of support in my life. So I really think that fitness competitions are a great piece of my life that I really enjoyed. Then you're probably going to want to know, how the hell did I get on American Ninja Warrior? Everyone always asks me that question. They always ask me, how'd you get on? Did you win? They always ask me that. Did you get on and did you win? And also, how many pull-ups do you do? I get those 3 questions like all the time. So how did I get on the show? So one of my mentors throughout Kathy Savage, her name was Stacy. She was helping me with my fitness routines and teaching me how to become a personal trainer. She helped me with a ton of stuff. She was actually going to try out for the show. I never even watched the show before. So I was helping her create a video because you have to create a submission video and fill out an entire submission form. While I was doing that, the person that we were doing the video with, Anne, was like, Angela, like, you were a gymnast, you like worked on the bars, like you should try out for Ninja Warrior. And I was at the place where I was like, I don't want to step on her toes because Stacey had won like every competition. She's absolutely an amazing woman. And I was like, I don't want to step on her toes. Like, this is her thing. And he's like, why not you too? Why not? And it was interesting because I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. So he told me to put a video in. So we made a really quick one, threw the video in, never thought about it. Then I was competing at a fitness competition one day and all of a sudden I get a call, hey, and it's an 818 number. So if you're an American Ninja Warrior listening to this, you know that when you get the 818 call, you know that it's the call. We call it the call. It's like very exciting. So we get the call, picked up the call, and I was like, wow. I was like, I just got an American Ninja Warrior. It's so crazy. So I was waiting for Stacey to get her call, but she didn't wind up ever getting one. And I was really I was sad. I was sad about that because I really did want her to get it, and I wanted to do it together. That's for me. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do it together. I didn't want it to be just about me or just about her. I wanted to do it together and go on this show. I was a little disappointed when she, didn't come to the competition, but that's okay. That's okay. So anyways, I had to figure some stuff out, right? I had to figure out how to ninja. I never ninja before in my life. So what's luckily for me, there were some great people around me when I announced that I was on it. They were like, listen, you can come to this gym. It's outside. We created it and we can teach you some stuff. So I go into the woods in Rhode Island. I know it sounds super sketchy, but there was great people there, whatever. They set up an entire ninja course and I started training on there. They started teaching me how to lâché, grip strength, and I slowly started seeing, oh, wow, there's a community here too, right? So there's a community in fitness and there's a community in ninja. And same thing, very supportive of you. Everybody wants you to win. Everybody wants you to do well. I'm like, this is super cool. So, so trained, went to Pittsburgh, didn't do great on the course. Didn't do awful, but they didn't wind up airing my run. But I became addicted to that. And I also became addicted to it because during that time, I had been going through a crazy breakup. Crazy breakup. Like if I think about it now, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I went through all of that. I was dating somebody for a really long time and I was hands down like in love, like this is the man I'm going to marry. I'm going to marry him. We're going to stay in Cranston, Rhode Island. It's going to be this whole thing. Like I just had it in my head. I didn't think anything of it. Like I never thought about being single ever again. And long story short, unfortunately, he will not manage to this day, even if he listens to this, whatever, I'm going to say it anyway. He was cheating on me. And I started seeing a lot of different things and realizing that we were growing apart. He was staying in the kind of college party phase and I was growing out of that. And it was hard for me to admit that that was a real big issue. I just wanted to work. I just wanted him to stay with me and grow with me, but he was still in a different place. And it's okay. You need to realize that, right? With people and during your journey, you might grow out of being with somebody because they're in a different place, and that's okay because everyone grows at different rates. So anyways, we wound up breaking up. So I was a mess. I was like, who am I without this person in my life? I feel like I felt like I was no one. So going to Pittsburgh during American Ninja Warrior was a big step for me because it was the first time of me going out on my own and just being Angela, and just being with people and learning. And that's when I again more started seeing more of my potential. I was like, wow. I was like, I can be great on my own. I can meet great people. There's so much more out here than what's in Cranston, Rhode Island. Like there's so many more things. So anyways, so continue to get on Ninja Warrior. We'll go over some more of the stuff on there. But in between all of this, I decided to quit my pharmaceutical job. Well, actually in between, I was working at Brown. And then I started working in a pharmaceutical place called Genzyme because I was trying to get my PhD for college for years. I could not get accepted into a program that I wanted. So I was taking the GRE. I was doing all the studies. I couldn't get in. I was super pissed. And I was like, screw it. I'm going to go into pharmaceuticals. That's where you make amazing money and whatever. So I was working in a pharmaceutical company, overnight shift, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. We had a carpool, a group of us. It was me and two guys. They were great. They were listening to this now. I miss you guys. Definitely, again, I'm much of I'm a bro basically. So we broed out in our little clown car of people, but we drove in super late, and then we worked all overnight in hazmat suits creating this drug called Fabrazyme, and then we came on back home, and I was miserable. I was miserable. I was so miserable, and I was training for things during the time at the time, and I couldn't find times to work out because I was getting really, really exhausted. So I started doing runs at midnight. I know they've had so many comments on Instagram being like, that's not safe. You did runs at midnight outside. We're on a campus. It was safe. There's all sorts of stuff there. Don't worry. But I would at midnight, I would have my break and I would go for my runs, and that would be my time. And as I started doing that and I started getting exhausted, I started realizing, you know what? Like, I don't think this is for me. And that was a hard thing to admit, right? So I actually started getting my personal training certification during that time while I was working there, like during the breaks and stuff like that. I would study for it. And people were asking me, oh, you look so great from the fitness competitions. How are you getting like that? Can you help me? I was being mentored to become a personal trainer. And I always thought, like, you can't make money doing that. Like, you can't make money being a trainer. It's just a trainer. And then I decided, you know what? Screw it. So I saved up as much as I possibly could. Because again, they were just giving us money. It was crazy. So I saved up at least 4 or 5 months of rent. And then I decided that, okay, cool. It's time. Quit the job. Ooh, that was scary. I was scared that I was letting everybody down around me. Oh, I thought I was letting the boss down, my friend who helped me get the job down. I was scared. And then I got a job at a gymnastics gym and coached kids gymnastics in the meantime while I was trying to figure out what the hell I was going to do. So decided to start teaching the adults of the kids I was teaching in gymnastics boot camp classes. They want to become strong too, just like their kids, right? Why not? Why not you? Why not any age, right? So I started teaching boot camp classes. I remember, setting up all the flyers, getting stuff ready for boot camp classes at night after all the little gymnasts had left, and nobody really showing up over and over again. And me being like, oh, for at least a couple months, I was like, I'm in trouble. Like, I'm not going to make it. Like, what is going to happen to me? So I was stressed. And then one person came, right? Ray McKay. And if he's listening to this, oh, you're the best, Ray. You kept me going. I got Ray McKay came in, started coming in every single week. I started seeing his transformation, his body. It was like stronger, more confident, all those things. Amazing. Then he brought a friend. Then that person brought a friend. And then all of a sudden, this is after months, I had a big group of people coming in and I loved them. I felt so connected to them and I was so happy to see their transformations. So as it was getting bigger, I was realizing, oh, I'm outgrowing this space. What now? Obviously, you got to open a gym. Like, I just felt like that was just the next step. Like, the next step was like, you just obviously open a gym. So that's what I did. I found a spot through a friend of a friend. I was asking around. It was like the back of a martial arts studio. Same thing here, super scared. I had like barely any money left. I put all my savings into it, opening this gym, and just figured it the hell out. I had no idea what I was doing, nothing at any sense. Then business wise, I just didn't know what I was doing. Opened my gym and realized that very quickly, like, I am not only the gym owner, I am the janitor, I am the accountant, I am hiring people and having to deal with that bullshit. I'm having to deal with annoying landlord. I mean, everything. Like everything. And I don't want to talk super negatively about the gym because the gym was a great experience. I learned a ton. I got to meet a ton of people. I got to help kind of grow that business and create boot camps and things that people I felt like they knew they needed. And it was great because it was mine. I could do whatever I want. But I knew, like, as I was doing it, that like this is not where I belong. And so a couple of the people I was training, one of them, her name was Terry. Terry was like, Angela, I don't think you belong here. And this is as I was starting to get some other things, right? I was continuing to be on Ninja Warrior. I was getting the 2016 Miss Fitness America, right? I randomly put my name in because a client bugged me over and over and over again to put my name in for the Women's Health Next Fitness Star. Somehow this like this random girl from Cranston, Rhode Island, who like what like had nothing to really show. Like I got on the cover of Women's Health magazine. They took me everywhere in New York City. It was giving me a taste of my potential, a taste of what I had in me. And I was like, every day I started thinking that, I'm like, wow, I got more in me. I was getting on in magazines from Strong magazine. I was helping it was wild. I started seeing that. I never think that like I wanted to leave. In my head I was like, I really like, I love these people, but like I'm young and like I only live once. Like why not like see the world, go to New York City and be with the best people? So then season 10 of American Ninja Warrior happened and I tore my ACL, completely tore my ACL on the show in front of everybody after being the strongest I've ever been in my entire life. And that was my eye opener that I needed, because you don't know how long you're going to have your body. You don't know what's going to happen at any day, anytime. I mean, check out the pandemic. Like we didn't know that was going to happen. Right. So you got to go for it. If you're craving it and you're like, I got to do it, you got to do it. And the people around you, even the people who you were training, right, they will support you because they want the best for you. So I decided to shut down the gym. Okay. I decided to and listen to the wind. It's super windy here in Boulder right now. So yeah, I decided that's it. Like I'm going to leave. I'm going to shut down the gym. So I did. I shut down the gym. It was really hard for me to say goodbye to all those people, but I made sure they were all set up. I found gyms for them to go to. I connected with other gyms in the area. I just made sure that they had everything they needed, and I miss them dearly. They were great. That AG athletics crew, they have my heart. Went to New York City while I was trying to repair my knee. So I was going to physical therapy 3 times a week while hustling around the city. I was living in my dad's basement in New Jersey. I had literally like barely any money, like no money at all. So I was literally sleeping on people's couches. I was training I was meeting everybody I could possibly meet around the city. I said, I'm going to take every single class I could take and I'm going to meet them and I'm going to establish real relationships. I'm not here to try and get anything from anybody. I'm here to learn. And I have established real friendships with people doing the things that I want to do. So that's what I did. I put myself in those places and it slowly evolved into different things, right? I slowly, started getting a job here and then meeting this person and meeting that person. And it evolved into me meeting the editor of Women's Health and the new editor. After all of that, it came full circle back from the My Next Fitness Star, because I didn't wind up winning my Next Fitness Star, but the Women's Health Next Fitness Star. But I did create great relationships there, and I was able to teach a class for the Women's Health crew. And that evolved into me going and doing the spread for Women's Health, which was the naked spread, like the body health issue, which was tough for me because I hate being naked still, even though like I've grown a lot out of like that image of my arms being too big and stuff like that. So all these things were evolving. I was growing and becoming, just so much. It was crazy, things that I never thought could have happened. So I can go into more detail about those different parts of my life, but I feel like this is a good little place to kind of taper off here on this whole adventure and these different pieces of my life, right? Because I think that a lot of times you might look at people's Instagrams and you might think, oh, they have it all. They just had it all so easily. Maybe you didn't see the journey that like mine, where they went through this, right? Where they were a biochemist, where they tore 2 ACLs, where they had a gym and had to shut it down, where they had no money and they were broke. Maybe you don't see all those things, right? So during this podcast and during these episodes, I want to do whatever I can to help encourage you and teach you what I've learned along my journey. And if it could help you in some slight way, that is the win of this. That is really the win. I want to help you become the best version of yourself. I want to help you take chances and I want to help you live, because there's so much more in you that you don't know you have. And just like that, throughout that journey, the people who came to me and we're like, you have more in you than you think. Sometimes everyone needs that person, right? So hopefully this podcast can be something that for you. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. This is my first episode, just talking a little bit about me. If you have any questions about my life or anything that I've gone through, or you're going through something now similar, definitely feel free to message me personally. I will answer any questions that you have in order to help you along your journey. And that I hope that you enjoy this show and keep listening.